All right, so we are going to get started on our backs this morning, so feel free to grab any blankets or pillows and make ourselves comfortable. And taking the legs as wide as the mat here, taking up as much space as we need, allowing the arms to rest wherever comfortable. And just finding any last fidgets until we can allow the body to settle. Allowing the eyes to draw closed here. And just starting to come to the breath. Breathing in through the nose, feeling the chest and the belly rise. And exhaling, letting it all out. Just taking this time to arrive on our mats this morning. If we'd like to, we can come to a 3-part breath, which is one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And on our next inhale through the nose, feeling the chest rise, the belly rise. And exhaling, the belly falls, the chest falls, out the nose. Inhaling the nose, the chest, the belly, and exhaling the belly, the chest, the nose. Continuing this just 2 more times at our own pace. Taking one more deep breath together. Our deepest one, inhaling the nose, the chest, the belly. Maybe taking one more sip of air at the top. And this time just exhaling it all out, open mouth. From here we can slowly start to wiggle the toes, rock the head side to side. Starting to find some movement in the body. And fluttering the eyes open, we're going to go ahead and plant both feet on the mat here. You can move the hands wherever comfortable, and we're just going to slowly start rocking the knees side to side, massaging the lower back. If we'd like to, we can find a little bit of core here by lifting up the feet just about 1 inch off the mat and still allowing the knees to fall to one side and the other. Really drawing the lower back into the mat here. Taking one more. And on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and hug both knees into the chest here. And drawing circles with the knees. Also massaging the lower back and switching directions of our circle. And finding just one more core exercise here. We're going to go ahead and extend the right leg up overhead. It can be pointed or flexed. And we can extend that left leg out in front of us. And we can have it either resting on the mat or floating above, just 1 inch off of that again. We're going to inhale, lifting through that right leg. And exhaling to switch. Left leg lifts up, right leg down. Inhaling here. And exhaling to switch. Inhaling and exhaling to switch. And we can move at our own pace here. Again, drawing that lower back into the mat and really focusing on our breath, not holding our breath here. Just finding one more on each side. And on our next inhale, hugging both knees into the chest again. We're going to start by rocking back and forth, just starting small, massaging the lower back or the entire spine here. And we'll eventually work our way up into some bigger rocks until we can find ourselves in a comfortable seated position here. From here, we're just going to find a seated twist. So inhaling, reaching the arms up and over. And exhaling, twisting towards the left, right hand on the left knee, back hand comes behind us. We're lifting through the chest here. Inhaling, coming back through center, and exhaling to switch sides. Inhaling, coming back through center. This time on our exhale, shifting our weight forward, we'll go ahead and come into a tabletop position here. The wrists are below, directly under our shoulders, and our hips are over our knees here. We'll move right into our cat and cows. So inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze for cow. And exhaling, rounding out through the spine, tucking in the chin for cat. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. Going through this a few more times, moving with our own breath. Allowing the breath to guide our movement here. We can find any other movements that feel good as we do our cat-cows, maybe rocking back and forth. Or side to side, finding a bit of a C curve in the spine. If we'd like to, we can draw circles with the chest or the rib cage. Just letting go of any judgment of what we may look like. Just finding what feels good this morning. When we're ready on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes and lift the hips, coming into our first downward facing dog this morning. We can go ahead and bend one knee at a time, pedaling out the feet, starting to warm up the legs. We're spreading through all 10 fingers here. And on our next inhale, we're going to come up high onto the toes. And exhaling, taking a deep bend in the knees here. Inhaling high up onto the toes. And exhaling, allowing the heels to fall back towards the mat. One more time, inhaling high up onto the toes. And exhaling, bending the knees. Inhaling high up onto the toes. And exhaling, allowing the heels to fall. Inhaling, the gaze is forward. We'll travel to the top of our mats. And exhaling, forward fold, allowing the head to hang heavy here. We can grab opposite elbows and sway side to side for ragdoll. Shaking the head no, and nodding the head yes, helping release that tension in the neck. Finding as big of a bend in the knees as we need. And on our next inhale, we'll come to a halfway lift, fingertips on the shins. We're rolling the shoulder blades back, really extending through the spine. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up and over, reaching all the way through the sky. And exhaling, hands through heart center, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, taking a deep bend in the knees, planting the hands on the mat. We'll step our left foot back for a low lunge. And exhaling the right foot back for downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, coming either to a high plank or dropping the knees for kneeling plank. And exhaling, coming to our chaturanga, so squeezing the elbows in at the sides, coming all the way down onto our bellies or halfway. And inhaling, opening up the heart for baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling, tucking the toes and lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Inhaling, the gaze is forward. We'll travel to the top of the mat. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling for our halfway lift. And exhaling, fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up and over. And exhaling, hands through heart center, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, taking a deep bend in the knees, planting the hands, stepping our right foot back this time for our low lunge. And exhaling the left foot back for downward facing dog. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward to high plank or dropping the knees. And exhaling, chaturanga, whichever variation, coming all the way or halfway. Inhaling for baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling, meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhaling, the gaze is forward. We'll travel to the top of the mat, coming into our last sun salutation. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up and over. And exhaling, hands through heart center, forward fold. Inhaling, this time bending the knees and just planting both hands on the mat and stepping straight back into our downward facing dog. And exhaling to hold here. Inhaling, shifting forward to high plank or kneeling plank. And exhaling, chaturanga, whichever variation. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. Taking 2 really full clearing breaths here just to recenter ourselves. Inhaling through the nose. And on our exhaling, opening the mouth, an audible H-ah sound. Like you're fogging up a mirror. You can always come to a child's pose here at any point. Taking 1 more breath, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling, opening the mouth. On our next inhale, coming into a 3-legged dog, we're going to reach the right leg up towards the sky. That foot can be pointed or flexed here. We really want that right hip to be pointed towards the mat so our hips are nice and squared. And on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and step that right foot through, placing it in between the hands. We can use our hands to help if it doesn't quite reach. And coming into a low lunge here. Making any adjustments that we need, we're going to come high up onto a crescent lunge. So if we want some more stability, we can walk the feet to the outside edges of the mat. So we'll go ahead and inhale, reaching both arms up overhead. And exhaling, hands to heart center, making any adjustments. That bend in that back knee can be as big or little as comfortable. Making sure that front knee is directly over the ankle, rolling the shoulder blades back. The face is soft. We're going to find a bit of a twist here, so inhaling, lifting through the spine, and exhaling, twisting towards the right. Our left elbow can rest on the knee here, and we're just opening up, twisting towards the right, keeping that bend in the front knee here, finding the breath. Inhaling, slowly coming back to center, feeling that core engage. And then our exhale, we're gonna go ahead and step that back foot in a little, straightening the front leg, giving it a little break. We're gonna come into our pyramid pose. So both feet are facing towards the front of our mat, and our stance can be as close together or wide as we'd like. We're gonna inhale, reaching the arms up overhead here, and exhaling, slowly hinging at the hips, allowing the hands to fall wherever comfortable. Shin, ankle, floor, or if you have a block. Doing our best to send that right hip back and pulling that left hip forward. Once you find a comfortable spot, we can allow the head to hang heavy. On our next inhale, we can slowly walk the hands all the way back up. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come into our balancing pose, which is going to be a warrior 3. This is not an easy pose, so just staying kind with ourselves and trying it out. If we fall out, that's perfectly okay. So we're going to start putting all the weight into that front foot here, that right foot. We're going to start by lifting the back leg up, maybe all the way so that in line with the rest of our body. We're really engaging the core here like we did at the beginning of class. Our hands can be at our sides, palms down like an airplane. They can be at heart center. If we'd like a challenge, we can reach them out in front of us, taking 2 full breaths here, gazes down at our mats. Taking 1 more full breath. And on our exhale, slowly stepping back into that crescent lunge, nice and controlled. Amazing job. We'll go ahead and reframe that front foot. And on our exhale, stepping that right foot back for a downward facing dog. We can find a child's pose here. We can find an optional chaturanga if you'd like a little bit more of a flow. Just listening to our bodies this morning. And taking 2 more full breaths wherever we're at before we switch sides. Taking 1 more full breath through the nose. As deep as we can, starting to lengthen the breath. And exhaling, opening the mouth, that audible jaw. Leaning back in our downward facing dog, we'll go ahead and start to center the right foot in the middle this time. And on our next inhale, reaching that left leg up towards the sky for a 3-legged dog. Our hips are nice and squared here. And on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and step it through, coming into that low lunge on the left side. Making any adjustments here, and on your next inhale, we'll go ahead and reach up. Hands are reaching towards the sky, and exhaling, sinking into that left knee, hands at heart center for a crescent lunge. So that back heel is lifted, but it's pointing towards the mat here. We can bend that back leg as much as we need. And coming into that same twist here, inhaling, lifting through the spine, and exhaling, twisting towards the left this time. The right elbow comes to knee. Inhaling, coming back to center. And on our exhale, we'll go ahead and just step that back foot in, straightening the front leg, giving it a little bit of a break. Coming into our pyramid pose on this side, both toes pointed towards the front of the mat. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. And exhaling, hinging at the hips, allowing the hands to fall wherever comfortable. allowing the head to hang heavy. And on our next inhale, slowly walking the hands up the leg here. Bring your hands to heart center and coming into our balancing pose on this side. Again, it might feel different on either side, so just being kind to ourselves, letting go of judgment. This is not an easy pose. We'll start to transfer all of our weight into that left foot here. And slowly bow the chest forward and maybe lift that back leg up, flexing the foot here, keeping it nice and active. The gaze is towards our mat, having the same arm options as before. Maybe we try inhaling the arms up overhead this time. Just for one more full breath. Ooh, I almost lost my balance. And when we're ready, as slow and controlled, stepping back into that crescent lunge. Amazing job. Inhaling, lifting through the spine. And exhaling, reframing that front foot, stepping back into our downward facing dog here. And from our downward facing dog, we're going to go ahead and shift the weight forward, coming all the way onto our bellies here. From here, we're going to go ahead and tent the hands. They kind of look like this. All the way to the outside quarters of our mat here. Elbows are up wide. We're going to go ahead and exhale together. And inhaling, lifting up, pushing through those fingertips. The gaze is up towards the ceiling. And exhaling, coming back down, elbows pointed towards the sky. Inhaling, extending through the arms, opening up that front body. And exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling, this time our gaze can come over the right shoulder. And exhaling, coming back down. And last time, inhaling, this time our gaze over the left shoulder. And exhaling back down. From here, we're going to go ahead and come into our twist. And so it might look a little different. We might be facing a different way on our mat, but that's perfectly okay. So we're going to go ahead and start by lifting our right knee so that it's close to our right elbow here. Extending our left arm out in front of us. And we'll go ahead and roll over, opening up that right arm. The gaze is over the right shoulder, finding a twist. Feeling the belly rise and fall. When we're ready, slowly rolling back onto our bellies. And just switching sides. Extending that right leg, bringing the left knee out to the side so that our elbow matches. You can extend that right arm, and when we're ready, we'll go ahead and open up that left arm. The gaze follows. Allowing the belly to rise and fall. And from our twist here, we're gonna roll all the way onto our back. So we might be facing the wrong edge of the mat, but that's perfectly fine. And from here, inhaling both knees into the chest, drawing our circles with the knees, massaging the lower back again, and switching directions. If you'd like to find one more stretch, you can find a hip opener or a happy baby. So lifting the feet up towards the sky, the knees are wide. We can grab underneath the thighs or the outside edges of the feet here and just rocking back and forth slowly, releasing go of that tension. Taking one more full breath here. And then when we're ready, we'll go ahead and inhale, reaching both arms up overhead, extending the legs, finding our good morning stretch. And exhaling, releasing the arms wherever comfortable. Allowing the legs to come out wide, the eyes to draw closed. Just coming into our final relaxation or shavasana, just for a few moments here. Feeling fully supported. Drawing our attention to our body and our breath in a different way. Instead of as active as we were during class, thinking about engaging our muscles. Now we just surrender. Let all that tension melt away. When we're ready, we can start to wiggle the toes and the fingers, rocking the head side to side. We can slowly make our way onto our sides here, bending the knees, and coming all the way up into our comfortable seated position.